Hi, welcome to a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, we're back from vacation in Hong Kong, as you may have followed our saturated channel with all of the videos of Hong Kong. Hope you've enjoyed them. Hope it hasn't been too much Hong Kong for you. But anyway, there'll be more reflections on all of that. But right now we're looking at getting back to work and just realizing in many ways how our simple life, which was, if you look at the early videos that we made, we actually promised you that we would give you glimpses of our simple life. Well, our simple life suddenly took on a life of its own, and suddenly it's not a simple life anymore. It actually became a mission. Now, I'm not trying to make that any more grand than it really is, because, as I've said many times, we are just two people doing what we can with what we have. And doing what we can with what we have has suddenly been propelled into much greater proportions than we ever expected. And suddenly a mission found us. When we first started, as I've said on many occasions, I'm not averse to repeating myself, as you know, but we really started off just going over with Pastor Timio to see someone that he was visiting who he said was paralyzed. And we went over and we sat outside a man's bedroom that was really little more than a dirt floor cell. And we looked in there and we were kind of overcome. It's not easy to see this stuff firsthand. If you're used to getting up in the morning and everything is quite orderly, well, I won't brag that it's orderly on our hilltop home, because we're still camping out. We were then and we still are. But when everything is healthy, when there are healthy children running around, when you have food on the table, no matter how modest, when you have enough money, we have had right back then, before we even started a YouTube channel, we had enough money to live modestly. We could, like everybody else in the world, we could use a few dollars more. And now, thanks to our YouTube channel, we have a few dollars more and we can live reasonably well. Back then it was not so easy, but we said, well, can't we at least buy a bed for this man? It really was quite pitiful. So that was really what we started off at, buying a bed. And from buying a bed now we're actually involved in making videos which involve us in life and death decisions and situations. Maybe not so much decisions, because actually we don't make the decisions, we just show a story, and then whether any funding comes through, that part of the decision is up to you, and the other decisions are up to the person about whom we are making a video. Now, we've had a lot of successes, a lot of incredible experiences of being able, thanks to you, of being able to help people. Not always so good. We had what seemed to be a major disappointment with Nisa. We tried to raise money for a woman that had cancer, and we failed there, and she died. Well, she had cancer, and who can say about that? So right now we have two cases which are going to be difficult to confront. Difficult for me anyway. I'm not so good. Beth has a lot more control about this, but I'm not so good at it. I keep wishing that some emergency room nurse out there who might stumble on our videos will write to me and tell me what the secret is for being able to just switch off at the end of what may be a harrowing day and just get on about an ordinary life. I haven't found that secret yet, and so when we see stuff which is really life and death, then it really affects me. Alright, well, that's not a sad story, it's just a fact of life, isn't it? Lots of people are affected in this way, and I'm no different. And Beth is no different either. It knocks us both for six sometimes. So, that's a cricketing metaphor, actually. Yes, yes, I'm knocked for six. That's like a little bit like a hole-in-one, if you like. So we've now had word from Dennis. Dennis has a tumour in his leg, which is just impossible. It's impossible to handle, and all of the tests have come in and said he's going to have that leg removed. The thing is that I'm just an ex-musician here, right? I'm an artist. I'm a do-it-yourselfer, if you like, and I'm not, and never have been good at medical stuff. But I can see that tumour goes right up into the groin, and I'm wondering, just on a pure engineering point of view, how they're going to manage that. Because I know that if it's a cancer, they have to get it all out if they're going the surgical route, which they're saying that they're going to have to do. And we've been in touch with Dennis, and he said, we need to hold on, I need to think about this. He's only a man in his early 20s, I think. So that's going to be a tough one. Going to be a tough one to be around. The one that is with me the most right now is that just on a whim we went around. We were around doing. Sorry, I'm stumbling on a bit now. We were around looking at visiting Marie, who is Mitch's girlfriend, and we were around there. It's light stuff. It's people in love, people talking about their hopes and dreams of a wonderful happy ever after. And from there we said, why don't we just go down and have a look at Michael, who lived further down the lane. And we went, and if you looked at that video of Michael, you'll see that it's not going so well. Now the thing is, as soon as you start talking about Michael, it gets very complicated, because he is a young man who is extra young for his age and still very much living in his mother's house. Now when we first met Michael, he came to us when we were picking up the 3 little girls and all of the other kids that go in that family gathering community to bring them to church. And this gaunt looking young man came and spoke to us and asked us if we could help him, and apparently he was a diabetic. Who knows what number diabetic is. The medical profession has a way of numbering things, don't they? Well, anyway, our first thought was we need to get him to a doctor, and so we posted the video, and several people came forward and said we'd like to help Michael. And so we were able to take Michael to see Dr. C. And Dr. C, we took the boy's mother with us as well. And incredibly, the boy's mother didn't want him to go to hospital. You have to realize that you're in an extremely remote community. This is a case of, it's the same planet but it's a different world, and so try to suspend all judgment. There are things which perhaps as a Westerner you and I will never ever understand, but they're there. Sorry, I had to blow my nose there for a minute. Alright, so there are these things, and they're there to be understood. Somehow, however you can, where if you are from the West and you're not familiar with this, there's a whole culture that is there to be accepted and understood in whatever way you can. I'm not very good at understanding that, so when we went to see Michael, we were shocked to see that his condition has worsened so much, and now I'm from a time when we used to see, difficult for me this, but we used to see photographs of what happened when the Nazis decided that they could do without the Jewish people, and the stories that came out of Germany. Obviously I was actually a child then, but I still saw the pictures, and those pictures stayed with me of what happens to people when their health deteriorates to such an incredible amount that they just become like skin and bones. And that's the only accurate description that we can give for Michael, is down to skin and bones. I would say that he might possibly be 38 kilos actually. I had said 40 in an earlier go at this, okay. I think probably 35 kilos, and the boy is just wasting to nothing. And for me, I've been described as being quite intuitive, bordering on psychic, and all I saw around him was death. Difficult one, because it's just not possible. We're not handing out numbers here, we're helping people, and when we help people, we know them, we get to know them, and we get to care about them. And if we don't care about the people that we're helping, well, what the hell are we doing here? Which brings me to the mission that I mentioned, which came over and kind of didn't say, can you take me on please? It sort of just grabbed us by the scruff of the neck and said, this is here to be done, what are you going to do about it? And so it went from a bed to a house, to another house, to I don't know, giving food out, to people sending us box after box after box, and us giving away box after box after box. We have, right at this moment, we have something between 12 and 15 boxes on the way to be given out to people in need, touched by other people who have begun to care about our little community. So, yes, the losses are there, the disappointments are there, but we are just back from vacation and having a good time, and we're back at work. So we have started on to the good news. We have started on house number 20. We haven't learned a thing so far, so much against the disappointment of the hillside house, where we didn't get enough money to finish it until it had been well finished, and we'd taken from our Patreon account in order to pay the debt that was left. We haven't learned our lesson from that, and we've started house number 20 on another leap of faith, and we're hoping that the money will come in. Being bright and astute in business was never a very strong point for me, as you probably noticed. So that house is underway. It's one of our subscribers, who has been an incredible support, has said, I think that the house should be, and he said this along with a gift which helped us to start the house, he said, I think it should be 20 by 12. Have a look at your house that you live in right now and try to compute those figures into your house. 20 by 12. If you're in America, you probably have a living room which is bigger than that, and certainly you will have a garage that is bigger than that. Okay, so we're back at work. We wanted you to know that we never asked for this. It just came along and we couldn't say no. So this is a foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.
Yeah. Yeah, he got injection, you know, the insulin, but they're doing it bit by bit because of the, if you inject every time, it's difficult situation.